When things get rough on the water or in life, we clench up, we get tense, we try to control everything. And that's exactly what can make us capsize. Maybe you're thinking, if I let go when the ocean gets rough, I'll flip over. If I stop controlling everything in my life, it'll all fall apart. Or you might be wondering, how on earth do I relax when my boat's bouncing around and I'm fighting for my life, or when my week is bouncing around and I'm fighting for my life? But here's what the ocean taught me. When conditions get dynamic and I tense up, when I tighten my grip and when I try to force control, I get closer to capsizing. When I relax, actually relax, the boat stays upright. The same lessons apply in life. In this episode, I'm sharing what I've learned about why tension tips you over, how relaxation is a trainable skill, and what changes when you stop fighting and start working with what's happening. It's kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how I think about this on the water and in life. Now, since this is about learning to work with conditions instead of against them, and because it's well below freezing out there today, we're here in the Steve C. Kayak Global Headquarters, where I can focus on teaching you what the ocean taught me about control. Let me set a scene for you. You're paddling around a headland. There are big tides that day, creating rough seas around that point. The swell is pitching you up and down, and the waves are blasting off the cliff face and splashing back, creating even more chaos in the situation you find yourself in. You're paddling in an angry washing machine. Nothing is still. Everything is dynamic. Consequences for capsizing here are significant, and that is absolutely on your mind. How would you feel in that situation? How does your body feel right now just listening to the story? Tight? Tense? You saying to yourself, no way? When we tense up in that moment, we make it harder for our kayaks to stay upright. Kayakers love to share this story, that if you pushed your boat out to sea without you in it, it would stay upright, crossing an ocean. Now, that's probably an exaggeration, but the gist is the boat is designed to stay on top of the water. Without us, it does that really well. But with our high centers of gravity, with our paddle movements, we're telling the boat what we want it to do. We're overriding the boat's natural stability. You know, there's a story that comes back to me often from my teaching days. It felt like another lifetime ago, but for those of you who don't know, I was a teacher at one point. And I had a student my first year of teaching, Jordan, and Jordan was a difficult student. It was a challenge to work with. Sweet kid, challenge to work with. And he couldn't sit still while he was reading. He was always wiggling around. He was always moving. I said, Jordan, sit down. You got to sit down. When I tried to force him to sit still, like I thought he should do, everything got worse. He had his own way of learning, and I was overriding it. Tension and overexertion gives your boat the opposite information it needs. The boat knows how to stay upright. You're interrupting that. So here, the solution isn't more control, it's letting go. So why do we do this? Well, it's a natural instinct to tense up and be ready to react. We're wired to tense up when threatened. It's what kept our ancestors alive. We need to be ready to run, or jump, or fight, or flee. When we're in a kayak, while it is a little dangerous, that shutting off of our brain and going into survival mode turns off our options. When conditions get dynamic, we're not thinking, we're reacting from that survival mode. If we were thinking, we'd ask, what does the boat need right now and how am I interfering with that? This response is natural, but it's the wrong tool for the situation. In the kayak and honestly in most places in life, the skill isn't just to hold tighter, it's to learn when to let go. Now, moving from control to relaxation isn't a natural component in these situations, right? We have to practice it. We have to learn to let go, actively, consciously let go, even when every instinct says to hold on tighter. It's a mindset shift you have to practice. And here's what that practice actually looks like for me. When I'm in a spicy area, I actively tell myself, relax. In my head, out loud over and over and over again. Relax, relax, relax. It's not a passive thing, it's a command. I have to force myself to say it, and I force myself to do it. Second, I bring my attention into my body. And in fact, I bring my attention to my bum, and I try to experience the weight as low as possible in my boat. I have a coach that describes it as feeling a sack of sand right at your bottom. This grounds me, literally and figuratively. It helps me feel my boat, and it helps to center me. Third, I ask, am I fighting this, or am I working with it? On the water, are my micro corrections with my paddle interrupting what the boat is trying to do? In life, is tension a sign that I'm resisting something instead of letting go or responding? When you stop fighting, when you're in those conditions, when you stop trying to control everything, your brain actually comes back online. And you can intentionally bring ease and flow into a situation that doesn't seem like there's any ease and flow. You know, years of meditation has taught me that awareness gives you choices. And I often think of this phrase, moving from reacting to responding. When I'm reacting, I'm clouded with misconceptions and judgments, and I can't make conscious choices. If someone frustrates me, I might say something back upsetting that is going to make the situation worse. Now, responding is taking all of that information and making a choice for an outcome that feels good. The invitation here is to look for areas in your life where you're trying to fight or tense up against something. Look at how your approach is making things better or making things worse. Do that on the water too. When you work with what's happening instead of against it, you respond instead of react, and everything changes. So, what if your attempt to control or resist or fight is exactly what's making you feel like you might capsize? And what if the same thing is happening in your life every time you choose to not let go? The truth is, letting go is wisdom and sometimes counterintuitive. Trying harder to stay upright is what tips you over. Remember, your boat knows how to stay upright. And I would say your body knows what to do in most situations. You just got to listen to it. If this idea of working with conditions and letting go resonated with you and you want to keep exploring what it means to paddle with confidence and understanding, I've got more episodes that dig into stories and lessons and what I call the sea mindset side of paddling. Go check those out. I think you're really going to enjoy them and find them useful. All right, friends. Well, as always, I hope you enjoy your adventures, whatever they are. And until next time, safe paddling. Bye for now.